my friend Yolanda here.
Hey there.
And we've got a couple of wonderful things to talk about with you today. Our genres today are short story collections and a series of books, series of novels. So if you like reading one novel, you can go on and keep reading.
Enjoy your new friends.
Yes, enjoy them longer. So I'd first like to start talking about some short story collections that we have at the library. And one of my friends recommended this one to me by Rosemont Pilcher. Even though she passed away in 2019, this is a book of her short stories that have been collected for the first time. And a lot of them are from earlier, much earlier in her career as a writer. So they take place maybe in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. And if you just are looking for a short read, you want to just have a little light reading.
Yeah.
I highly recommend these. They're all love stories. They're about young women finding love in various places. And
so here in America?
I think they mostly take place in England.
Okay.
Yeah, they mostly take place in England. It's called A Place Like Home, and they're short stories by Rosemont Pilcher. She was most famous for writing The Shell Seekers.
Okay.
So if you like that book, you probably will really like this group of short stories. And it's brand new, so you'll find it right now in our new release section. I recommend this one. And we've got lots and lots of different types of short stories. So it's not just romance at the Scott County Public Library. We have got science fiction. And for those of you who love science fiction, these are the best American science fiction and fantasy fiction from 2018. And it was edited by N.K. Jemisin. And she put together a really great group of stories that will make you think, that make you expand your horizons about what you think about life, the universe, and everything. And so
What was she known for writing? Was her like one of her famous books?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I've got one of her books right here. Going on into later on, we'll be talking about series fiction, and she's got a couple of trilogies, and I think this was her first one. It's the Broken Earth trilogy, and this one's called The Fifth Season. And world building, great. She builds a whole fantasy realm, and if you like it, you go on and read the other two. So I recommend that. She's great at fantasy, great at science fiction, and the stuff that she's put together in the short story book really did make me think about what constitutes life. Like the story that I'm reading now in here is about a person, a being, who has taken their essence, their life, and transferred it from their fleshly body into kind of a robotic body, so that they could go out into space and see the universe as this repair, kind of like a repair droid on a major fleet of ships.
So is the point that they're safe, they're keeping their body safe, but they can be in a different place?
No, they get rid of their body entirely.
Okay.
And at the point where the story starts, they're about 157 years old, and they've got 200 years more to go in their contract with the space fleet that they're in.
This sounds like the Twilight Zone kind of stuff.
Yes.
Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah. Except that the body that they go into is more like an armored shell kind of a thing with multitudes of arms and.
Okay. So they could work, I guess.
So they can work out in space without having to breathe. You know.
Yeah.
So really very, very interesting. So if you like science fiction, go check this one out. The best American science fiction and fantasy from 2018, edited by N.K. Jemisin. And, all right, we've got lots more short stories. Isaac Bashevis Singer, very, very, very famous writer. We've got, I think this is pretty much all of his short stories collected. And I'm sure he won the Pulitzer Prize. So he's an excellent.
Do you know
excellent
when he
writer.
did win that, or has it been a minute?
It's been a minute.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Okay.
He won it in 1979.
Okay.
So check these out if you have not read them. We've got them all here. You can usually find the short story collections because they normally have an SC on the label, but several of them don't. So just ask one of us at the library
Yes.
if you're looking for a short story collection and you can't find them. If you're not into science fiction, or you just want a little bit of spy stuff going on, the blue and the gray Undercover, I found this one in the stacks. It is all new Civil War spy adventures. Of course, it's probably not all new now because it's been in our collection for a number of years. But it's edited by Ed Gorman. And really, check it out if you're a Civil War fan or if you just like spy, military stuff. This is a short story collection you can get into. Just read one at a time. You just have a little bit of time. All right, now. I've had patrons tell me they just absolutely love Jack Reacher by Lee Child.
Yes, I'm a fan.
Yes,
I'm a big
okay. He's, let me just read you a little bit about Jack Reacher. Okay, this really sounds good. He's got rules. Rule number 1, when in doubt, drink coffee. Rule number 2, never volunteer for anything. Rule number 3, don't break the furniture. Rule number 4, only one woman at a time. That's
Okay.
really
How
good,
nice of him.
good advice. Good advice. Rule number 5, show them what they're messing with. So he's quite a guy. He's apparently a tough guy. And this short story collection of Jack Reacher stories by Lee Child is called No Middle Name because apparently it's just Jack Reacher.
So you know these guys, they've got several different series
Yes.
that are running right now.
Yes.
Yes. Was it Tom Cruise was in one of them? And
Yes.
I can't remember the other guy from the other show, but really popular. I've watched both versions and there's not a bad version, but also the books are awesome.
Yeah. So you've got to read it. We've got them here at the Scott County Public Library. Moving on to some series, which I know
Yes.
Yolanda has
Yes.
one of them too. All right, fantasy. Fantasy people, you will love Mercedes Lackey. She's got a series that I've read so many of them in. It's the Valdemar series, and this one, she's got series within series of Valdemar, which is a world that she created, where the heralds actually talk to horses. They've got horses that they become very closely aligned with.
And the horses don't talk.
Yes, the horses
The horse-
talk
Oh,
telepathy,
okay.
telepathically.
Okay.
The horses talk to them. So I was really interested in reading about that. But this one is the book 1 of the Herald Spy. That's one of the series within the Valdemar series. And it's called Closer to Home by Mercedes Lackey. So check it out if you like fantasy. I recommend it. What else do I have? Oh, I love these books. I get so excited. This is An Irish Country Doctor. This is book number 1 about Fingal Flaherty O'Reilly.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's a mouthful. He has his assistant, Dr. Barry Laverty. And they live in a little tiny hamlet called Ballybucklebow in Northern Ireland.
Yes.
And they are the greatest book. If you liked All Creatures Great and Small, if you love those books, or even if you like the series, that either the one from the 80s or the one
Yes.
that's currently on, if you like those, you will love these books because it's exactly the same, very characters, very funny humor. It's got serious stuff, and it tells you a lot about the culture, and it takes place about the same time period some of the books do, because it starts out, I think, in the 30s when the old Dr. O'Reilly is going through school, and they have a whole book in the series that's about his school years. But he has a whole bunch of books about these two doctors in Valley Buffalo, and really read them. And there are recipes. There are recipes in there too, because they've got the lady that takes care of the household for them. Her name is Mrs. Kincaid. They call her Kinky. It's just her nickname. But anyways, she's an older woman, and she cooks for these. She's a widow, and she cooks for them, and so they put recipes in the book too. So really, check it out. It's by Patrick Taylor, the whole series. An Irish country doctor is the first one, and we've got most of them here. And if we don't have them all, we've certainly got them on e-readers, e-books, and we can get them during, if we don't have the all of them, we can get them through interlibrary loan. But we have most of them, so check them out by Patrick Taylor. All right. Well, I love this book. I'm really big into fantasy.
Okay.
And so it's one of my favorite genres. And this is all of the collected Earthsea novels by Ursula K. Le Guin. And she wrote several of them over her lifetime. She started out with The Wizard of Earthsea, and then she kept writing over the years.
Yeah.
And as she wrote, the world expanded and changed. And
It's a beautiful cover.
It's absolutely beautiful, and this one's illustrated too.
Oh.
So this is Ursula K. Le Guin, The Books of Earthsea, the complete illustrated edition. And we've got it here. So you can read the whole series in one volume. Yeah.
It'll take a minute though.
Yes, it'll take you a while, but I recommend it. A lot of when these books were first released, especially the first one, Wizard of Earthsea, it was considered a young adult book. But we have this whole series in our adult collection because adults like to read them too.
Right.
So, yeah, okay. If you want stories and you want to read a whole series, you can't beat Sherlock Holmes, and we've got them here. Yeah. This is, we've got volume 1 and volume 2. This is volume 1 of the new annotated Sherlock Holmes. And so it'll give you a lot of background information, a lot of little notes. But if you're a purist and you just want to read the original stories without all that annotated stuff, we've got that too. So by Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes. Check it out here at the library. All right, and maybe you didn't know this, but Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he also wrote supernatural tales.
I did not know that.
He was really into supernatural and occult kind of strange things.
Yes.
Yeah, like when they had the hoax of the fairies over in England, he kind of originally believed in that, I think.
Right.
And but anyways, he,
So scary or
no, just kind of
spooky?
Yeah, fairies and talking with the departed and things like that, seances,
channeling and that kind of thing.
Kind of thing. But he actually wrote some really good supernatural tales. And some of his Sherlock Holmes stuff got kind of creepy too.
Yes.
But yeah, if you like that, like one of the ones I've read is really kind of funny. Maybe he was making fun of that whole idea, but it involves this fellow that has bought this old manor house, and he thinks that he's gonna be really super posh now, but he's jealous because his next door neighbor's house has a ghost, but he doesn't have a ghost. So
Oh.
he thinks well, he's got enough money, he's gonna buy a ghost. So he hires, he makes some discreet inquiries, and he hires somebody who says that they can get him a ghost. Produce a ghost. And instead he's of course, they fleece him.
I was gonna say, of course, he sounds like a mark.
Yes. So that was one of the stories in here, but I think you'll really enjoy it if you like that kind of thing. And if you like Civil War, you cannot, or historical fiction. This guy, Jeff Shara, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but Shara. This is Gods and Generals, and he's got several really good books on the Civil War, and they actually made a movie out of this one and out of one of his other ones, and really a good movie, and they're very good books. So if you like historical fiction too, and you want to read a whole series about the kind of like the same characters going on, definitely.
Wow.
Check these out.
So we did not plan this, but a couple of my series are going to take place in the Civil War era too. So, is that your last one?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first one, I'm going to start with telling you that I'm not normally a fiction person. But since working here at the library, I have switched over. I much prefer to read memoirs and that kind of stuff. But I have come back to fiction, and let me tell you, they have some good fiction. So Dread Nation, we're going to start with. It is a Civil War era. Right now, it's just 2 books in the series. But I'm going to give you kind of the who, what, when, where, and why of it all. Jane McKean, she is the heroine in this. She is from Kentucky. Rose Hill Plantation is what they call where she's born. And she was born to apparently the most beloved white woman in the community. And we don't know who her dad is. And we just know that nannies took care of her and brought her up. So in this era, it's a fictional retelling of what would have happened if Gettysburg did not go the way it did, if the North didn't win that battle. So in this world, what happened in Gettysburg is that the dead arose. And I will tell you guys, I am not a fan of like zombies and all that stuff, but this book is awesome. It is action-packed. So they consider it that the dead walked on Gettysburg at the battle. And so what has to happen for Black girls in particular is the only way you can move around in society is if you went to this kind of school, Miss Preston School for the Girls of Combat. And basically, if you got a job with a well-to-do white family, you would take care of their children. Basically, you would befriend them, but if the dead were walking around, you were the person who would take care of them. That basically, and she uses sickles. That's her specialty, is that you killed the zombies. You are basically her personal zombie killer. So this one takes place in Baltimore, where the Preston School for the Girls is. And her life goal is to get back home to Kentucky to her mom. She wants to do well enough that she can actually come back home. So you follow her on her journeys from Baltimore, and it ends up that she starts moving around because some weird things start happening. Families in the community come up missing, and she gets assigned to protect this one woman. And you have to read the book to figure out what is actually going on with the families. And this, obviously, it goes on. She continues to, there's a breakdown of what happens in the first one. And I'm not going to give too much away, but they call the Walking Dead people shamblers. And so she's really good at putting down the shamblers. So good that she continues the journey into book 2. So, Dread Nation by Justina Ireland and Deathless Divide. You will not put it down. If you don't like zombies and if you don't like the creepiness of all that, you will still love these books. So, very good. So my next one, it's a switch, but it's still Civil War era. And this one is a trilogy. This is Alyssa Cole. And in this series, it's the Loyal League series. And it is patterned after a real secret society group that tried to infiltrate the Southern strategies of things. The Union Army sent in spies, so it's romance, espionage, all that good stuff. But in this particular first one, Elle Burns is our lady, I'm getting a little nuts, and Malcolm McCall. So Elle Burns is a free black woman living in Massachusetts, and she's a part of the secret society, the Loyal League, that tries to infiltrate, because they have black and white people who sign up to do these things. And she's going back down south, and she's going to go back into slavery in order to collect information that's pivotal for the war. So Malcolm McCall is an Irishman who's here, and he's also trying to infiltrate this enclave in Virginia. So that's where the story takes place. And it is just, again, if you can tell, I like for things to keep moving. So it's very action-packed. You will not stop. You won't be able to put it down. Elle Burns and Malcolm, they strike up more than a friendship. And during all of this, and again, the interesting thing about Alyssa Cole is she did the background study for this, and she found stories that matched these kinds of occurrences. And so she sticks really, really well to things that actually happened in history. So I love the whole idea of the secret societies, the whole, going back into slavery and what that was like for her, having been a free person, coming back in, and just her perspective, and even him as a white male, his respect for her. And she has this really cool gift. She has eidetic memory. So literally, when she looks at a thing, she sees it and she has it. It's just locked in it, which would make her this awesome spy, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So this one is The Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole, first one. This one is A Hope Divided, and the third one is The Unconditional Freedom. So in this first one, you will meet these people, and you'll find them again in the second and third books. You just get to pick up with the story and keep going with it. So it's all about their spy relationships. So keeps you on the edge of your seat. Very, very fun and sometimes very suspenseful.
Yeah. Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And my last one. Okay, so I should tell you, this one is an adult series. This Dread Nation is a teen fiction series. And the last one that I'm going to tell you about is also a teen fiction series. And this one is a beautiful cover. Legend Born by Tracy Dion. And the new one will come out in November. Also action-packed. And again, another subject that I've never been interested in reading about. King Arthur's Court. So, the person in here is Bree Matthews. It's a young girl who just lost her mom. Her mom passed away, and she's being awarded this summer at an away kind of an educational camp at UNC Chapel Hill. It's kind of like our Governor Scholar kind of a program here. And she remembers faintly some things that happened on the night her mom died. And there was a Merlin that was supposed to wipe her memory. Well, it didn't work. So she's just like, she doesn't understand what they were doing, and she didn't understand why it didn't work. So on the night that she first gets to UNC Chapel Hill, she witnesses like this magical attack on the school. And so all these things are opened up. So you go on this journey with her. She wants to join the Legendborn, which are said to be the descendants of King Arthur's court. She wants to infiltrate because she knows there's some connection with her mom's death, and she wants to find out what all that's about. So again, you will not sit still, and you will not be able to put this down. I know it looks big, but you will go through this very, very quickly. And we have a person on staff who's actually from that area. So when she read the book, she knew the places in the book. So if you're familiar with UNC Chapel Hill, this book you will love. And the character, it's again, another Southern secret society kind of thing. And just, there's a little bit of a love interest thing that goes on, but more it's just the intrigue and the magic. And again, not a thing I'm really interested in knowing about, but the writing is delightful and the story is awesome. So you should come to the library and check some of our series out.
You should definitely.
Yep, teen series.
Yep, teen series.
So that's what I have. Hopefully you guys will come on over.
All right, and there's plenty more where this came from.
Great.
So come on and visit us at the Scott County Public Library. We'll see you soon.
Bye guys.
Bye.